buy every dip you see, because the dips will start to become more rare and the runs will start to become more. I think in the future, Tesla is actually going to become the safe bet that people are going to go in times of trouble. They'll actually go into Tesla, not out of Tesla.
What this quarter showed me, and it's crazy, what this quarter had confirmed to me is that the market doesn't care anymore if Tesla underdelivers in their EPS and revenues. If they miss
195% is about $711. This line right here, it hits the right on the angle. That's the beginning of 2027. This is 5,000, but maybe it just has to spend some more time. The next GAN line after that, horizontal line, is $84,000 a share. 84,000.
Oh man, I'm speechless.
So welcome to the future.
Welcome everyone. Today I have someone special on the channel. His name is Steve, or better known as the Tesla Tracker on X. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit of a background with Tesla Tracker on how him and I found each other. Well, first he found me, then I found him. He is a really good technical analysis when it comes to stock. Now, I know a lot of you guys will come to me and say, Pejjy, you look at the fundamentals, man. You're not a technical guy, which that's right, which is exactly why we have Tesla Tracker here. But Tesla Tracker, he's been spot on, which I was very impressive, because I don't find these technical things very serious. I don't take them so seriously until Tesla Tracker hit like he was spot on. And I mentioned him a couple of times in some of my videos because it was just absolutely impressive. He predicted back in 2024 the stock was going to hit $138 and 42 cents or something like that, 43 cents, something like that. And
it was funny. My claim to fame was I predicted on my birthday, basically on chart technicals, March 22nd was my birthday. I wasn't sure exactly the date, so I just thought for fun I'll pick my birthday, March 22nd, for $143.69.
It was insane.
And what we got was 1 month later to the day and $5 less. So instead of the 143 was like 138, but very close. It was like, depending on how you measure it, I was like 98% accurate with the chart prediction.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that that was the beginning of the that happened in April. You said it in March, and in March the stock, I think it was in the 200s, and I'm just like, nah, it's not gonna go below 200. It's not gonna go in the 160, and then it did, and then it literally went to what you predicted in like the 140s, and I'm just like, what the heck, man? He like what? So it was such an insane moment. And from that day on, I'm just like, okay, maybe there's more to this technical thing that I should probably look at. Or, I mean, I'm not really interested in learning it, but I'm more interested in someone like you who's an expert to come on here and show us your techniques, show us what you predict next, because you spot on. So sheesh, it's just, sheesh moment. Thank you for coming. And for anyone who wants to follow Tesla Tracker, and I do recommend you guys follow him because I follow him as well on X. His link is in the description, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
I haven't actually. I put it next to my name there at the bottom of the screen too.
There we go. That too.
My X handle.
At SPZ. Yeah, and the link is also in the description as well. So, sheesh. So take it away, Tesla Tracker. Thank you. I mean, I don't know where to start. So tell us the techniques and stuff like that.
I'm a chart guy, so let's start with the chart. If you just, I guess, full screen us to the perfect. All right, so here's my trading view chart. Let's just turn off this down. This is a MCDX Plus. It's a whale tracker that I use for looking and seeing when institutional buying is coming in versus when the institutional buyers go away. It's mostly retail. It's a proprietary tool that I love using it. Let's put that away for now. So here is the history of Tesla chart from. We're really just looking for the pandemic low here through to the 2021 high. So let's see. Here's how I predicted this low here. Was basically I'm always looking for fractal patterns. Like they say, history doesn't repeat itself. I say, well, history does repeat itself. After getting these three tops here and these two bottoms here, we then in July of 2023 and then December 2023, we had these three tops and these two bottoms, and basically I said, it really looks like this this could be a fractal of this here. And so all I did was I just did a measurement. This is a Fibonacci retracement tool, and I just measured the distance from here, from from this high to this low. So basically, it kind of went to a 61.8% extension down towards the ultimate low, back to 382, and then 100% down. And so then all I did was I took the same pattern. I said, okay, well, let's take this high, and actually, I guess I should have done it this way because I didn't know what that was going to be. I was solving for that. So I went from 0 to 100% here, and then this came out to be like 150 something percent. And I simply just measured this distance, and that gets us to the 103. And so from 0 to 100% there, well, 150% C is exactly right here. Let me just put the 150% here as well. So I just measured this ratio. So from 0 to 100 to that low, retraces, and then extends down to about 150%. And all I did was the same thing. From this high to this low, retraces, and then extends to 150%. So here's 141.46. I was very fond of using pre-market prices and after-hour prices, and these are just like the daily closes prices. So that's why my target was slightly different, but about 140, 146 is what I had. It was 143, that's what I predicted, and then we got the 138.80. So that's how I did it. And the same measuring, identifying two fractals is how I'm predicting my next high. So let's clean all this back up real quick. So now I'm looking at this high and this low. So from this low right here to this high, and then what we got was the 414.50 high is it's actually like 195% from.
So what are the percentages? What does the percentages mean?
These are Fibonacci ratios. Using Fibonacci's sequence, the golden means, the golden rule sequence. It's frequently used throughout technical charting. And so, I mean, this is literally just from measuring this low to this high, it's 100%. And then these are Fib ratios, but they're still just ratios of the price overall. Even without the Fibs, you could just simply measure from 0 to 100 and then extends to 195%. So using those numbers, I'm looking at from the 101.81 low.
Oh, here we go.
To the 414.50 high. And then 195% is about $711. That's my 711.66 or something like that for that big prediction. And that's where I'm predicting it's going right there.
And by when? By when do you think it's going to hit that high?
That is trickier, but I've been trying to use this forecast tool more lately, and it's just it's a hyperbolic curve. And if it matches this hyperbolic curve, it could hit as soon as, that says May. I'm actually looking for prediction. Maybe I'll be a month late and $5 lower or something again, but that's what I'm predicting. So like $711 by July 14th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, no, July 14th.
July.
So 14th. Here we are now, and this is just a waypoint on the way to get there, like July of this year. And then that is just $700. And then we'll be in another consolidation pattern like this for a little while. There's a chance, though, that it could continue even higher. I want to see if it hits this first and how it does. If it does get that or even becomes more bullish, there is an argument for price hitting like $1,000 by the end of maybe like the first month of 2026 or something like that. But that's, one crime at a time, as my wife. So let's see if this becomes significant resistance first.
That's incredible. And this is not financial advice, right? We're investment advice. This is all like, seeing what could potentially happen and based on based on technicals and all that kind of stuff. So don't come back it's based 1 year, right, and say, oh, you said it's going to be this much. None of this is financial advice, but that's incredible. If it's $700 by July.
Yeah, these are just projections. Projections based on Fibonacci levels.
That's insane. No, that's insane. So what do you? So we did spaces last week, and whoops, let me go back.
Yeah, I just kind of dropped in. It was funny. I was not expecting to be invited into it.
No, it was good. It was thank you. Every Saturdays we do these spaces at 2 p.m. time, and it was it's a lot of fun. You mentioned something very interesting that I want to go very deep in. You mentioned that any dips in 2025 you should buy. What do you mean by that?
Yes. Well, what I mean is, it's very likely. I recently had the opportunity to look over the Larry Williams's outlook for 2025, and he is a big believer in cycle patterns, and so am I. And based on his cycle projections, he thinks that we're going to see like a major, like, let's see, from here we are in January. So February, basically, I'll just do with arrows. February up into March, he sees Tesla going. I'd say Tesla and cryptocurrencies are probably going to see a big cycle move up. Then they're going to hit a lull. That's going to take us down into April, May. Yeah, that's about exactly right. About this 50% level, maybe around 450 or so. And then after that, it's going to cycle back up again. You'd see it hit a peak around July or so, and then another dip in October. It'd be like another October surprise, kind of low, right into the end of the month. And then another melt up to a new higher high by the end of the year into the first month of 2026. So I don't know if I want to pull this up to 1,000. I kind of want to do just for, anyway. There we go. So this is what Larry Williams sees. So basically, by the beginning of the year, and any kind of dip you see now, then maybe if you're going to try to trade this thing, maybe sell a little bit into March when it seems to be peaking out. You get another opportunity to buy again lower in May, sell into that July high, and then wait and see what kind of retracement it gets into October, buy that dip, and then you're going to end the year higher than every other price that you had all year long. So yeah, you basically buy every dip that you see now into
That's insane.
March, and then into July. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. And then it's possible, and then he goes on to talk about, we might start to see a larger downturn in the broader market for, like, we might start to see a recession and an actual bear market go for hopefully not for too long, but for a little while, maybe into 2027 or so. But the good news is, just like I was talking about how in times of recession in the past, people used to they buy utilities, right? They buy electricity or water or cable and telephone. Well, I think in the future, Tesla is actually going to become the safe bet that people are going to go, in times of trouble, they'll actually go into Tesla, not out of Tesla. So let's see, even though if the market does this, maybe Tesla won't necessarily do this. It might just go more a place to keep your money while everything else is testing deeper and deeper supports. So again, this isn't for Tesla. That's just for the broader market.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the bear market you're referring to is due to all the tariffs that I think that Trump may impose to everyone, and that may shock it. I mean, that could be one of the reasons why we could see some small recession happening for some time.
It could be. It also could simply just be we've reached a high peak in this cycle, and we've got very high price to earnings ratios. So it's time to kind of cool them off some. And so this is how they do it.
Low, yeah. So you're saying 700 by year end or by July, and
I'm saying 700 by July.
By July.
Let's see. That's a great question. Again, kind of where I've got it, about the mid 500s, like 550, 560, somewhere between 545 and 560. So I'll just say 550 be where I'm looking for that support testing after hitting the 711 high.
Nice. And what do you expect? How low do you think Tesla will go in the next bear cycle? Because I'm a fan of buying the dips. I'm trying to. I buy on green days too, but on when it's especially red, I do love coming in and scooping up some shares. And when it's really red, like when you nailed the 140, I dumped my whole entire savings into the stock. Once again, when do you predict, or when do you think we will have another of one of those dips, or how low do you think the next bear cycle Tesla can go?
I'm just looking at this retracement pattern here. There's usually a fibs distance between the wave 1 top and the wave 4 bottom. So, I mean, that would be it. I don't think it would come back. Oh, wait, for the whole cycle. See, again, I think Tesla's going to be a little different. So if it reaches 1,000, then the retrace level would probably be an ABC down, let's say bullishly to the 50% level. So 526 again might be the
Wow.
bottom of the whole cycles. So almost half, right? Well, almost exactly half.
Which is more than now.
Yeah.
Even the dip is more than now. That's ridiculous.
But again, like I said, it might be different for Tesla. That's a typical ABC retrace for a bullish stock.
Right.
Come down to the 50% level. It might just end up like kind of like this triangle here. It might end up doing something more like this for like another, how this was like 3 years long, 4 years long. It might be stuck at another range, a consolidation range.
Wow.
For another, 3 to 4 years, maybe from the 2026 through 2029 or 2030. But then, your average price is going to be in the 800s.
Yeah, that's like double of what it is now.
And then
more than double.
When it's done with the cycle, when it finishes that cycle, it just breaks out and then goes higher again.
Yeah, with the robotaxis
and then
and stuff coming in online.
The great Matsby, I work closely with.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, let's look at your chart. Let's look at not your chart per se, but that lovely S-curve chart.
Oh, the S-curve chart? Sure.
How Tesla is kind of like, it's not just one company. Elon himself has said Tesla is really like, dozens and dozens of startups under one umbrella. And I kind of talk about Tesla's being like, 30 magical cats in a raincoat. Like you're like 3 kids in a raincoat, and to make it look like one person. And that's how I see Tesla. And then here you can see exactly, you got right now, Tesla is known as a car company, but soon it's going to be known as a robotaxi company. And then they're going to realize, wait, they make even more money with that. And then they realize, oh, wait, what Elon said during the earnings call, they did they crunched the numbers and they said it was just ridiculous. They thought they could possibly hit $10 trillion in annual revenue on
the bot.
Optimus alone, the bots. And so there you are. It's perfectly predicted in this S chart. Who originated this chart again? Because I
really Dave Lee. Shout out to Dave Lee for. I mean, I believe that's I believe Dave Lee made this chart. I believe that's right.
That's what I've heard people say. Tell me.
Yeah, but shout out to him.
This chart oh yeah, that's
you said something very interesting earlier. You said that Tesla will be a stock or investment on the downturn. How everyone panics away from the market and goes into utilities when there's a big downturn, and how Tesla will be. And I 100% agree with you on that, because the thing that saved Tesla in this Q4 earnings, well, it didn't really save it, but it kept it afloat, was the energy, hitting a record of 11 gigawatt hours, 25% gross profits, 3 billion in revenue, almost $1 billion in profits. And Elon was talking about a third megapack factory. We don't know where. Like, he slipped that in the earnings call yesterday or a few days ago. And nobody's really talking about, like, whoa, there's a third megapack factory. That means we have 40 gigawatt hours in Lathrop. And then we have potentially 80 gigawatt per hour or 80 gigawatt hours in Shanghai, which now, if you combine those two, it's 120 gigawatt hours. And then we have a third megapack factory, which that could potentially be 60 gigawatt hours, or at maybe 80. Let's just say 60. My God, this is nearly 180 gigawatt hours, or let's say 200 gigawatt hours, which is just incredible. That means, if you do the math quickly, right now Lathrop can do 40 gigawatt hours. They can do about, I'm gonna pull up the calculator here to to do this properly. But let's say it's just about 300 million per gigawatt hours. That's about $12 billion in revenue. And if we're talking about 200 gigawatt hours, that's 60 billion in revenue. That's incredible. And let's just say 20% gross profits, right? That's 12 billion. In just gross profits coming from that's literally more profits than the whole year of 2024. Like, most people they don't see this, right? And it's
way subducted under the radar.
100%. And what's crazy about this is that the energy is big, but I think the robotaxi is bigger than energy, in my opinion. Now, there's an argument that goes between, like, okay, which one does? Because the energy does need to support the AI machines, the robotaxis, the EVs that needs to be charged up and stuff like that. But in terms of like TAM and in terms of like profits and growing, I think FSD and robotaxi, both those two things are bigger than energy. but energy has an unlimited demand, you know? So I can
Right.
see the argument, but I think robotaxi and FSD is a much bigger business overall compared to the energy, in my opinion.
Well, I think just like
But
this chess chart brilliantly shows, it's going to grow really quickly, and just as it starts to taper off, that's when you're going to realize energy is even bigger than it. The United States is going into it's really been going into a new protectionist age ever since the first Trump administration. Actually, since the Obama administration, and
yep.
they really are working on rehoming more industry here in North America. A lot of it in the United States, but then also they're moving more manufacturing to Mexico. There's the labor costs in Mexico now are, I think, two times cheaper than they are in China now, due to the population demographics. So yeah, and all that production is going to need more and more energy. The car industry is so huge now because of the way our society has been constructed, with like roads everywhere, and everyone has to have their own car to commute to work. But now in the 21st century, you don't necessarily have to commute to work. We can do ride sharing. We don't need as many cars. And with robotaxi, you can share one car between a score of people or so. By letting it be a robotaxi the rest of the time you're not using it. And we won't even need to own that many cars. In fact, car ownership overall can go down because we could just share a smaller number of robotaxi fleets. We won't have to have all those parking lots. We can turn more of that into lovely green spaces, but also manufacturing space and etc. We can do more, more urbanization if we want. If you want, we can go into this, but we can stay out of it too. The stuff I mentioned in last Saturday's show, where basically if you're solving for being able to put people on Mars, survive in a harsh biome of in basically in outer space, but with gravity, you could do the same thing anywhere, including on Earth. So you can plunk down energy generation, energy storage, water desalinization, or water cleanup and waste processing, and then food production. And all you need is just energy for all that. And if you've got robot labor to do it all for you, then you can have these you can basically put communities anywhere you want. You can just put a city down anywhere there's a space for it. That'd be on the surface. You could have the Boring Company tunnel underground, and you have these lovely places underground that just have access to solar energy above or geothermal below. But if we're going to be able to live in asteroids and Mars, anywhere in the universe, we could certainly live anywhere we want on Earth. So,
it'll just be like a copy and paste
and
kind of
it
thing.
It just takes energy generation.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah,
I went on
exactly.
a crazy tangent, but I think about this all the time as a futurist. I think I like to think about the future of humanity a lot.
Yeah, and I don't think Elon sees it any other way either. What he's doing with Tesla, he did post something on X, I think it was a year or two ago, saying that Tesla will protect Earth, and SpaceX will be like discovering the cosmos and everything else. But if you look what Tesla is doing, they are creating they are transitioning everything to sustainable energy. They are creating self-driving robots. When Elon sends the rockets and the mission is going to Mars, the bots are going to be there. Like, I think one of the biggest orders that Tesla's ever going to have for robots is going to be from SpaceX. 50,000, 20,000, whatever it is. And take it to Mars, whatever he needs to do there. I mean, or even just the moon, right? He can just take it there and do all the harsh things, do all the hard work that needs to be done. The bots by then will know how to charge themselves. They would know how to. I mean, it sounds crazy. It sounds it's sci-fi right now. That's the future. I mean, that's the future. I mean,
the sci-fi is just getting started, my friend.
Yes.
Our future gets brighter and brighter all the time. I mean, there's two things I want to talk about, and they're both going to be like a whole two different little tangents here. But one of them is like you were talking about how surprised you were, you're in awe of like the megapack construction, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just getting started.
Yep.
Elon Musk, like me and like a lot of us nerdy people, we grew up playing these 4X, expand, explore, exploit, exterminate real-time strategy games like Warcraft and Star Control, real-time strategy games. And the people that often win at these games are the ones that can master the industrial production economies. If you can outproduce all of your opponents, you just win every time. And that's what Elon is doing in real life with Tesla and those other companies. He invests in the technology, and then he scales it up, and he outperforms and outproduces all of his competitors. And yeah, in the end, it'll just be Tesla and SpaceX, or if he brings them all together under one symbol, one X basket of companies. The other thing I want to talk about, and so he's winning at playing 4X on Earth here, and he's going to 4X it to Mars, and then into the universe in perpetuity. The second thing I want to talk about was, now think about all the companies that Elon has. Every single one of them has a very important role to play in his vision for the future. Now, one of the things that's really cool about Optimus is they've made a robot that duplicates or even exceeds human capability, like with manual dexterity and all that. And now it's just a matter of once you train the AI to do a task, then all of the robots can do that task. And what's the fastest, most efficient way to train the robots? We already saw at the Robotaxi event, they had Optimus robots that were being operated by human operators.
Yes.
In addition to the ones that were autonomously and all that. Well, Neuralink, the computer brain interface that he's working on, it'll be an interface for humans with various skills to train the AI so that the Optimus robots can duplicate to the same level of ability or exceed that level of ability. So in the future, when Neuralink is a thing, the humans will be able to train robots. You just have to have the most skilled people at plumbing, train Optimus AI on plumbing. And now every single Optimus robot in the universe are the world's best plumbers. And then you just do that with everything else: firefighting, EMTs, cardiac surgeons, everything.
Yep. 100% agree. And it'll be like, it's crazy when you think about it. Like when you sit and think about it, that these guys can do pretty much anything you want. So one thing that I keep telling everybody, and I'll continue to tell everybody, is that, so here in Kuwait, we have a maid, right? And this maid does the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry. If you have a child, they'll take care of the child. They'll do the dishes, everything. And the amount of time that you have back, it's crazy. Like when I go back to Toronto, I can't, there's none of that, right? I have to do it all myself. And it takes about, if you put all of them together, the cooking, the cleaning, all that kind of stuff, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours a day, right? Because you're not going to clean every day, right? But the dishes, the laundry, cooking every day, and just the small stuff, right? Like you want to repair a door or whatever it is, right? Those take a long time. But when if you have your own bot, you don't have to do any of those anymore. The amount of time that you have is freed up. Like here, my mom, she doesn't cook anymore. My mom's like, wow, I have so much time on my hands. I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, imagine everybody had this. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And that's just a bot. Autonomous driving, like, man, I hate driving to work every day. Like, it's the same road, it's the same tarmac, it's the same way. And I'm just like, man, I could be doing something else. Like, I hate it. Like, I don't want to pay attention anymore. You know what I mean? So, like, you get your time back when you're driving, and you get your time back when you're at home. Man, productivity is going to go crazy. Because here's the thing: a lot of people go like, "What are humans going to do? What are they going to do? They can't just sit there and do nothing." They're not going to do nothing. They're going to always find a way to do something, whether it's productivity, whether it's their hobby, whatever it is.
Yep.
They're always going to find something. We, as humans, if we just sit and do nothing, we're going to die early. We can't do that. Some of us will start a YouTube channels. Some of us will start a business with the bots. Maybe we'll become, cyber cab owners or whatever. It's like, how I view this, it's like the internet. Back in 2000, 2001, everyone thought, oh, the internet is going to come and take my job. But look, the amount of opportunities it has given us. YouTube, you can make money by making videos. X now, Facebook, it's TikTok, website, just normal website, Shopify, all these things. My God, anyone can quit their job and learn how to do these things properly and make a whole lot of money. Like that's the potential of internet. And we're going through this again with the bots and stuff like that, and robo-taxis and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a wild future.
Yeah.
It's going to be such a wild future. It's going to be such a shishi flipping.
100 years from.
Yeah.
It's going to be wildly different, but exciting. Yeah. I really do see a golden age for humanity coming up. Here's another concept that so another mind blower. All we have to do is solve for instantaneous long range communication. Like, if they could figure out quantum communications, like quantum space radio, whatever, then you could control Optimus. You could do telepresence, right? You could put on a brain computer interface that communicates with an Optimus robot in a distant galaxy, and you could do, you'd be doing space exploration from your home, like, so a lot of the early tourism, I think, will be people, kind of plugging into robots on Mars and checking out Mars. You'll have, as good a vision as they have and as good as hearing as the robots have. It'll be a marvelous thing. And then we'll do like all sorts of tourism around the world too, where you still have to travel as much. You just, put on your brain computer interface and you're suddenly anywhere that an Optimus robot is. Anyway, that's so once we get into this is now we're talking about centuries and centuries into the future, but I could definitely see once we start expanding out into the galaxy, we're going to need like all humans on deck, controlling like squadrons and legions of Optimus robots, doing exploration and setting up colonies and stuff. We'll all be playing SimCity.
No, I can see that. I can see that.
Planets.
I mean, for me, it's that if we're gonna go to another planet and just make a whole new city and all that kind of stuff, these things are are easier to solve. You know what I mean? So those things. I mean, it's exciting. It really is, but that's crazy. That is flipping crazy. Now, let's come back to Earth a little bit, because these are like very crazy predictions. Or I mean, knowing Elon, I think he's gonna make it happen. But the Q4 earnings,
these are the things that get me excited about.
Yeah, it is. It is exciting. What did you think about? I don't know. Were you there at the earnings call? What Elon said?
I listened to the earnings call very intently, and I was like, posting on X on my thoughts and observations as that was going along. In fact, I was posting. Oh, no, I've already deleted it. I was posting charts about little, like, showing when the stock price. He would say something, and the stock would jump up. They'd say something else, and then the stock would jump up again. It was really funny. I love that.
Very unique.
That was a great call. It was one of the most bullish calls the earning calls he's done so far. Talking about the bright future. One thing that sticks out in my mind about the earnings call is like when he talked about how if they could just increase the energy storage capacity, they could double the output of the current grid, right? Because right now, if you have power demand and it exceeds a certain level, then you have to spend extra resources to spin up one of these peak power plants. And then all the energy that doesn't get used by that is just wasted. And they take the peaker plant offline and then you go back to what you had before. But with battery electric storage everywhere, every bit of energy that's generated, no matter what the source, can be stored and then used with a smooth output, just whatever production needs. We desperately need to increase the power capacity of our electrical grid here in North America. And once you do that, then your ability to produce things becomes, only limited by your raw materials now instead of by energy and materials. That's why Tesla Energy getting big is huge for everyone. It just increases productivity, not just for Tesla, but for all businesses and industries across the board. And then just take that across the planet Earth. All nations can benefit from his technologies.
And the third megapack factory that Elon mentioned, I think it's going to be in the U.S. I think probably in Austin. I think that was crazy. The fact that he just mentioned it, and he just everyone's not even talking about it. It's like that kind of blew me away a little bit. I'm just like, what? But I think the third megapack factory is going to be in Austin. I don't think we're going to get any gigafactories until maybe 2027, 2028, the way how Tesla is going. Because we saw the margins come in for Q4. We saw how the automotive business is not doing that well. Yes, the Model Y, the production stopped because of the new one. And I think Q1 is not going to be a good quarter, in my opinion. But what this quarter showed me, and it's crazy, what this quarter had confirmed to me is that the market doesn't care anymore if Tesla underdelivers in their EPS and revenues, if they miss. It looks like the market has accepted and now realizing that what Elon is saying is true. The fact that affordable models are coming, the fact that robotaxi unsupervised is happening in June and it's going to be available in Europe sometime this year. He said May, but Europe is Europe. It may take longer. China as well. So it looks like the market is waking up that, okay, maybe we shouldn't look at Tesla as the automotive part anymore. We should look at Tesla of more of the AI and robotaxi because that's where the profits are. And what's crazy to me is that when the Q4 results came out, I was disappointed. Like I saw 6.2% operating margin. I'm like, whoa, that's low. And then they missed on revenue. And then EPS was a miss. I thought it was going to be a beat, but it was a miss. And I'm just like, oh, this is going to be bad. The stock's going to go low. And it only went down 2%, as it usually does, because the earnings call and guidance is more. But then right before the earnings call, the stock shot up to 4%, 3%. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? And I was doing a live stream and I'm just like, why? And I was going over it. I'm just like, why is the stock going up? This was a terrible quarter, like in terms of like, revenue and profits and stuff like that. This was much less than I expected. And then when I read about the new affordable vehicles coming on track for the first half of 2025 and the Cybercab mass production, volume production next year, I'm just like, this is probably why the stock is going up. This is why. The crazy part is that what I realized here is that we don't care. What the market is saying is that we don't care if Tesla misses on the earnings call. We don't care. What we care about if there's any delays. If there's any delays, there's going to be a big pullback in the stock. But so far, there doesn't seem to be any delays. It seems to be on track. But if there is a delay, I could see a decent dip. But I don't mind that. I'll just buy more stock. But that's crazy. The fact the market is now looking at Tesla like this.
Right. Robotaxi is no longer 2 years out. Robotaxi is no longer being promised next year. It's in 5 months in Austin.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, if you think back to that S-curve diagram, it's like Tesla, the automaker valuation period of EVs is over. They've evaluated that. The market is starting to move their sites into the FSD robotaxi zone. So they're priced like about where that F is in FSD. That's where they're aiming for now. And as they start to see more and more about the potential of robotaxi, they'll start moving their sites higher and higher. You'll see the price targets move farther and farther. One thing that we know about price is in the market, usually over a long period of time, like, so if I take this to a logarithmic chart, and now log scale gives you a lot more detail about when prices were lower, you can usually find an angle at which price is just followed it over time. So from here...
from the beginning, yes.
There's this angle that price has just been kind of falling through time. Here, price got ahead of the angle. This angle always, you can imagine as like, this is sort of like a destiny or fate. This is how Tesla was always going to perform. And, back here in 2011, things got really excited, but then they weren't sure. And then the market's they're arguing back and forth over price over what Tesla's worth. And then something changes fundamentally. It shifts in the paradigm in the market. And remember, prices are always based on what the market sees future valuations. It's not based on current valuations, based on what they see in the future.
Correct.
So once you say, oh, I can imagine that they'll be worth this much, price moves up to that level. And then you can see price argued around this level for a very long time. And so long that it kind of passed the point of where you pass through the 45-degree angle here, or this 30-degree angle here. But then suddenly realize, oh, wait, everything we've been thinking about and arguing about Tesla price is no longer true. The needle has moved up higher. And so the market runs to quickly catch up. And then we spent this amount of time horizontally. And so you hear people talk about, the longer price just goes horizontal, the bigger the catch up when it does start to go.
Yes.
It goes up higher, faster. And we spent the last 3 years in this long consolidation period again. And that's why price is moving higher, faster. And I track these triangles all the time. When you have this triangle top and this bottom here, right here where we are now is not where price stops. Price doesn't simply go retest the all-time high and then go back down again. No, price will move significantly higher. And I'd say, it really wants to get back up to this angle line again. So once it can touch this line again, then it'll go sideways again for a while. Looking at this line, maybe let's just be conservative and let's move the angle down to this peak right here. Well, in that case, price, when it hits 704, it'll be a little ahead of it, consolidates for a little bit while, but then if it goes sideways for all of 2026, at some point it's going to want to run up to 1,000 to get back to the angle. Or if we get stuck in the if we do end up getting stuck between 700 and 550 for say 3 or 4 years, when price does move again, you're going to see it move from 700 to 1,800 in just a year. I know, right? So it's either the market either the market stays with the trend line and doesn't have to do too much catching up, or they spend too much time sideways and the catch up is really fast, like what we're in right now. So that's why I knew that the earnings call was going to go up, and I told people that I don't bet the farm on this, but I'm pretty sure the earnings call is going to be a hit, and we're going to see prices keep going.
Crazy,
because we've got a lot farther to go just to catch up.
That's crazy. So I have 2 questions for you. First question. So
yes,
okay, you can agree or disagree with me. I want to know your thoughts on this. The run-up, recent run-up, was because of Trump getting elected. Do you agree with this?
No, it was always coming. For me, it didn't matter who was going to get elected. I guess in one way you could say maybe this was the path we're going to go, and so Trump was always going to get reelected. But as far as I went, I didn't look at the election and say, oh, the market's going to go up if Trump is elected and down if Biden is reelected, or if Harris gets elected. After this consolidation period, Tesla was going to go up no matter what happened. So whatever happened was going to be what was conducive for Tesla going up, I suppose. You could say it that way.
Wow. That's surprising to hear, because...
So, I don't know. Agree?
Wow. I don't know.
In one way, it doesn't matter who got elected, but things went the way they were supposed to, so that Tesla price could continue going up.
Interesting. That's interesting, because I mean, the whole market reacted extremely positively, especially Tesla, when it came to Trump being elected. In my mind, I thought it would have been the opposite if Kamala got elected, because now, this regime is going to come, or this administration is going to come after Elon and do things. But then you do have a point there that eventually it would have gone up anyways. But wow, okay, that's interesting. So
I guess another way you could think about it, I mean, the Democratic cycle was kind of coming to a degenerate end anyway. I mean, they treated Elon so badly. If they really valued green energy, fighting climate change at any cost, they would have embraced Elon with open arms from the very start.
Oh yeah.
Instead of going with big auto and labor, because they thought that was their constituents that would get them elected.
Yeah, that administration was being pretty much controlled by the unions, right? And Tesla's not a union, so they were like, yeah, don't invite him to the EV summit, don't even invite him to the AI summit, which is like the biggest. Why? I mean, Elon is like, it's so dumb. Like, what Trump is doing is correct. Like, he's putting Elon at, like, not just Elon, but other big leaders. Like, I mean, just today, I think he's meeting up with NVIDIA. I mean, why would you? You need to meet with these guys. Yeah. I think he's meeting with him, and then I'm sure he's with Elon almost on a daily basis, and with Jeff Bezos and everybody else. Like, these are the guys that are pretty much ruling the world, right? And you want to talk to these guys to make sure that they are getting what they need and they're benefiting the U.S. as much as possible, right? Because that's how it should be. So
I wouldn't say that they're ruling the world, but I'd say that they're inspiring leadership. They're definitely inspiring leadership for us.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, yeah, but Biden didn't do much of these. It would just stick to the unions, and that was about it. It's weird. But no, that's interesting. Now, the second question is that I don't know how far you can go with this technical analysis to show us what the stock price could be potentially by 2030, 2035. Oh, geez, how far can you go?
I could go quite far. Well, let's see. There's one way we could do it. Let me just make a brand new chart. So this is called a Gann chart, but basically a way of charts have Fibonacci ratios built into them, and they have these important vertical lines and these horizontal lines and then these arcs. And what you can see in a properly drawn Gann chart, and this is drawn by I'd say the Great Matsby is probably the top 1% of all people drawing Gann charts in the world. His
Really?
art's the best.
Wow. I know
And
his
here,
stuff
and
is
this is a month. He's amazing. I just want to be more like Matsby every day. I do a show with him every day, and then I constantly just wish. It's like sometimes if I wasn't the Tesla tracker, I would just follow all of Matsby's resistance and
Sheesh.
support
Shout
signals
out to
to
the
make my
great
trades.
Matsby.
He is fantastic. So Tesla ran up to it, followed price followed this line, this I think it's a 45-degree line, and then it hops up to this line to test it as resistance, comes back, and then you see price come right up to this horizontal Gann line and its resistance. And what does price do? It tests back to this Gann arc here, back up to this resistance line, back to the arc, resistance line, back to the arc, resistance line. This time it's found support. It doesn't need to test back to the arc again, and it turns the previous resistance on this horizontal Gann line from resistance, it gets over it, tests back to it as support. You can see there's a wick through it. It gets through it, wicks back to it, but then closes the candle above it for support, and then can move higher. And then what it does is over time, it does one more test back here, but then it zooms to this arc, tests back to it for support, goes out of that arc and goes to the next Gann arc, and then turns that from resistance to support, and goes back to this Gann horizontal line. And so what you see is over time, Tesla moves from horizontal Gann line to the next horizontal Gann line. It'll spend some time consolidating through this pair of arcs. And so the next horizontal Gann line is where Tesla is going to, and that's at 4,897 on Matsby's chart here. And then so you'll see it get up there. You'll see it consolidate over this Gann arc here.
Wait, hold on. Did you
Maybe
just
if
say
it get above
40? Did you just say 4,700?
4,940.
That's really interesting you say that, because Elon said that Tesla could be worth, what was it? The next 5 companies combined, which is 15 trillion, a little bit above that actually. And that's the stock price is literally around that. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
And so that's 2027. So if it just follows this line right here, this angle, and it hits the right on the angle, that's the beginning of 2027 is 5,000. But maybe it just has to spend some more time going horizontal for a while. Maybe it's stuck in this range. Actually, let's say inside and then gets up to it, probably by this Gann vertical line. So really, that's more like now you're talking about 5,000 in 2032.
My God.
And then, some people are going to say, oh, this is crazy. This is like mumbo jumbo or whatever. But this is stocks follow these Gann trends over time. If the company, if it doesn't become, if it doesn't die, it only grows. It has to die or grow. And Tesla is the epitome of a growth company. So that means the next Gann line after that, horizontal line, is $84,000 a share. What the heck? 84,000. And so
is that even possible?
Part of it could be the inflation of the value of the dollar, but it's also just the immense amount of productivity.
That's a market cap of 270 trillion.
Eventually, by 2047, we'll need a new chart.
Okay, that's crazy.
Oops.
That's
you're
just
looking
insane.
Yeah, that's like 1,000,004. 1.4 million.
Okay.
That is not even right. Is that 1.4 million. That's right.
That's just
so, and for people that say this is insane, there's no way that can happen. Let me just take you back to the beginning of Tesla, when we're at this arc at the very beginning of Tesla right here, 1,600% increase. And then from where we were in 2019, like this average of 2019, where these are all adjusted for stock splits. So it's a $17 a share here. But to this horizontal Gann line is also about 1,600%. This is like 1,559%. Probably because I drew this a little bit off. It should be really about the same, 1,600%. And so now all you have to do is imagine that over the next period of time, or let's just do it with 1,660%, and then from here to here, we did it again, 1,660%. So all you have to do is just imagine that all price does is from where that horizontal Gann line was at 293, 1,668% again is this next horizontal Gann line at $5,000 a share, and it's just a matter of time. Just again, we went sideways for several years here, and then suddenly the market had to catch up to what they realized was the next valuation. So I'll bet you could literally probably take that lovely S curve chart that I'm such a big fan of, and transpose it over this, And so then, here's Tesla, Tesla, the auto company. And then
Yes, I
now
see what you're
we're
doing.
just starting to see, Tesla as a full self-driving
Nice.
robotaxi. And then, so then when the next S curve hits, that'll take us from 4,000 to 80,000 when we get Optimus robots. Or I don't know, or maybe energy. Actually, technically, right? Energy is next. Energy's here, and then by the time they're making $10 trillion annually, maybe that's when it's worth 1.4 million. And this is Optimus, right?
What the
So there you
heck?
go. That's that.
Wow.
There's your S curve and how the valuations could go. And yeah, a lot of this is going to be devaluation of the dollar, but it is also actual productivity growth.
Oh man, I'm speechless.
So
Dude.
welcome to the future.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Shout out to the Great Gatsby. This is his chart that I'm kind of stealing from here.
No, that's crazy. Shout out to him. Yeah, I mean, that's mind-boggling. Really, that's not even like. I like the fact that you did it like autos, FSD,
So
energy,
as far as Tesla
Optimus,
goes,
but wow.
we're just not bullish enough for the future because we just can't imagine it. We're still, our minds can't kind of wrap the full scale of it. I'm really excited about how Elon had the We Robot event, and they rolled the robotaxis, and people are marveling at that. And then he introduces Optimus and tells you that the robots will walk among you. And then that's when the party really gets started at that event, when the Optimus robots come out and they're all walking around and interacting with people, while they're waiting their turn to ride the robotaxi, which suddenly becomes the least interesting thing of the whole event. Well, now here in the future, here in the very close present, in June of this year, you can go to Austin, Texas, and get robotaxi rides all around Austin. Later, soon after, in California. Then he said, as they're able to prove the safety of robotaxi, they'll start rolling out to major cities all over the United States, and the robots will roll among you as cars. You'll see all the robotaxis everywhere. That'll be like that next catalyst where suddenly everyone can see, oh wow, the future really is here. Like if you couldn't see it through your TV screen when they launched the Starship Super Heavy and then caught the booster back, well, you'll really see it when you're seeing the robotaxis roll around everywhere. Their beautiful golden sheen reflecting in the sunlight and the city lights. And then after that, when
I'm very excited for it.
I know. And when you go to work and you see the Optimus bots there, and they're like, "Oh wow, look, they can really help us out. The future is going to just be amazing." And the stock price will just go nuts as people.
That's crazy.
As people see it everywhere, and it just becomes common sense.
And I don't know. For me, I see how it's like it goes up and consolidates and goes up and consolidates. I think that once we have the robotaxis that's giving a consistent EPS growth, I don't think we'll see this phase it consolidates and jumps up, consolidates and jumps up, because there's going to be continuous growth every quarter with the FSD and robotaxis when they get deployed everywhere. Maybe not in the early days, but near when it's like getting scaled and everyone is coming. But then Tesla can use that money to for capex and for other things and increase their operating costs for their other projects, which could maybe do this. But if their EPS is growing on a consistent base every quarter, well then I personally can't see it consolidating and then jumping up again. It'll be kind of like Apple stock from 2008 to 20 until now, actually, because it's just been going up. But I could be wrong. I mean, it's a lot. My mind's blown.
I'm putting it right here. Tesla is the preeminent, I think I spelled it wrong, engineering company in the world. They attract the brightest minds from all over the world, and they really they're not a car company, they're not AI company, an energy company, a robot company. They are a problem-solving company. They just anything that we suddenly realize that we're going to need in the future, Tesla can solve for it. And so I've got auto, FSD, robotaxi, energy, Optimus, and then question mark. We don't even know what's going to come next, but whatever we need next, we'll be able to provide.
Oh my God!
And we'll
I don't know.
Space vehicles, and I don't know.
That's incredible. What we're pretty much seeing right now is, Tesla becoming the world's most valuable company and staying there.
Exactly. And Yeah, once it starts going, it just becomes, the world's most valuable company forever in perpetuity throughout the universe. And then some they go from helping us get around and produce more things, be more productive, to they make the places that we live. Again, it's back to like this idea: if you can solve for a habitat that people could live on in space with a minimal amount of gravity, then you can make a habitat anywhere for Earth, inside of asteroids. You can you can core out, you can go out from Mars, you could send expeditions to the asteroid belt, and you could pick your favorite asteroids that have all the minerals that you want in them and core them out to build habitats inside of them, and then run a center core spline tunnel down it, and then build your propulsion on it, and then start taking asteroids interstellar, and they become generational starships that seed out into the rest of the galaxy from our own solar system. Ta-da! The future is mind-blowing.
It's crazy. No, yeah, that's absolutely crazy. Sheesh. Wow. I don't know. It's mind-boggling when you look at it in the future, what Tesla can do and all these things. It really is mind-boggling. And I'm just excited. I just need more shares. That's all. I just need more shares. That's it. That's why I'm wait. I mean, I was hoping for you to tell me.
You don't have enough shares.
I was hoping for you to tell me that, don't worry, Pejjy, we're gonna get another buying opportunity when it goes back down to like 300 or 350 or 340. But you're saying no, it's, it could be going high as 700 by July, and I'm just like, oh, and then going down to 500. I'm like, oh, okay, well, looks like we may not see the 300s again.
No,
Oh
that's
my
like I said. Like, just buy every dip you see, because the dips will start to become more rare, and the runs will start to become more. You'll get a run, and then price goes sideways for a while, and then the last thing it does is just a little bit of dip, a little dip lower before it runs up again. So basically, every time you
Wow.
see price go sideways for a while, look for one last dip down before it starts to run again, which is what we saw exactly just before earnings.
Yep, and I did buy on Wednesday right before. I bought 2 shares, and I'm like, I'll buy another 2 just in case. Wow, sheesh flipping moment. Wow, it's
Yeah, I'm really excited about the weekly candle close the week. I really wanted to see it
Let's
close
see.
above 421. I think it was 421.22. 421.22 is what I would like to see for the minimum candle close for the end of this week and the end of the month. And if we get that, then we're right on track for my super bullish call to July 18th, $711.
Wow. My price target for end of this year is 575 as a fair value, but my bull case is 700 by end of the year. And you're saying July,
fair
which
value
is
is
just absolutely crazy.
I think July. We'll see. Maybe this is the time that I'm wrong, but I'm thinking I'm not wrong. Just for a shorter term thing, if people are watching this over the weekend or into next week, I think that price has formed a trend line. I do these triangles all the time, like I said. So there's a resistance trend line at the top from when price hit that all-time high of 488.54. You can trace that trend line through this high here, about 439, to where it is right now, the top of this resistance trend line. And we've got a breakout to this 127% retracement extension to 420.90. Maybe we'll see a bit of a retracement next week. And there's maybe there's your buying opportunity depending on how long it retraces down here. At least 413.10. I can't guarantee it'll go any lower than that. But then, and then it's going to start moving up to the next level, challenge the previous all-time high, and then just keep going. I think, my next target I'm looking for is 480.26.
So going back to the all-time highs. My God.
Yep. Retesting the all-time high.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. We are entering in a whole new phase and I guess cycle with this stock. But wow, sheesh. Thank you, Steve. This is just mind blowing, and I don't usually follow these technical stuff, but I mean, looking on how things are and looking the way how you just present it here, it's looking very good. It's looking very good. And again, for those who want to follow him, he does this on a daily basis. There's a link in the description. You guys can follow him. Steve, is there any last remarks you want to tell to the viewers, to the Tesla community before we sign off?
I would just say the whole reason why I came here in October 2023 was because I saw that very opportunity where Tesla is going to hit a pivotal low again. I didn't know exactly where it was at the time, but I knew a lower low was coming, or a higher low compared to the 101.80 low. But I saw an opportunity. I said that I want to get in and tell people, as many people as I could, buy that dip. And then I protected where we're going to do next. I'm still protecting. I'm just here to help. I want people to be able to make generational wealth trading or investing in the world's most valuable stock for the world's most valuable company. I could just simply see, just like I showed in that chart, there's an angle line that just cuts right through time from history into the future, and it just goes up and to the right.
Yep. For the long term. Yes. And you did help me when you predicted that the stock's going to go to like the 140s. I did get my dry powder ready just for that. And when it happened, I triggered it and I went in, and I'm just like, that was one of the greatest opportunities ever. And I got to give you some credit for that, for calling that out. That was really good. That was really good. Now, obviously, what I do want to say to the viewers here is that obviously none of this is financial advice. Who knows? Maybe there's some black swan event that could happen next year or whatever that can bring down the whole market. We don't know, right? But this is just based on what Elon has said, what the company could be with the robo-taxis, FSD, all that kind of stuff. And in the extreme long term, you can't lose owning Tesla stock. That's what I preach on my channel all the time. That's what I talk about all the time. And that's what you're saying as well. And many other people that I bring on the channel as well. Yeah, that's all I just wanted to say for that.
Absolutely.
Sheesh moment.
100%.
So Sheesh, thank you so much, Steve, for coming on. Sheesh, yes. Got you to say sheesh. Thank you for coming on. This was good. This was a lot of value. I think the community will really appreciate
Absolute
this.
Pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, those who want to follow him, and I do recommend you guys do follow him on X. There's a link in the description. It's going to be an awesome flipping decade for Tesla and onwards. The only thing is that we just don't have enough shares. That's all I'm going to say. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Steve. And we shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.
Good luck, everybody. It's going to be a bright future.
Facts.